Welcome to qnawire.
Start by cross multiplying. 11 times x plus the square root of x plus 1 equals 5 times x minus the square root of x plus 1. Then you can distribute the 11 on the left-hand side to get 11x plus 11 times the square root of x plus 1, and distribute the 5 on the right to get 5x minus 5 times the square root of x plus 1. Now we could subtract 5x to both sides, and we'd get 6x plus 11 times the square root of x plus 1 equals negative 5 times the square root of x plus 1. We could then subtract 11 square root of x plus 1 to both sides, and we'll get 6x equals, we can combine those like radicals as negative 16 times the square root of x plus 1. Divide both sides by negative 16. And we'll get negative 3/8x equals the square root of x plus 1. We can now square both sides to get rid of the square root. And so that would be 9/64 equals x plus 1. Subtract x to both sides, and you have 1 equals, think of this as 9/64 x minus 64/64 x. And 9 minus 64 is negative 55/64 x. Now multiply both sides by negative 64/55, and you'll get x equals negative 64/55. Actually, just caught a silly mistake, so I gotta back this up for you. I apologize. Very silly, because in this stage, when we squared both sides, I squared the negative 3/8 to be 9/64, but I didn't square the x, so it needs that. Okay, so now we could now we're dealing with a quadratic. And so let's say it's 9/64 x squared minus x minus 1 equals 0. Since it's a quadratic, we'll set it equal to 0. And now we could scale the whole thing by 64/9, just so that we have a nice x squared. Okay, and then guess we could go quadratic formula at this point. Or you could complete the square. I'll complete the square. So I'm going to add the 64/9 to the right-hand side so I can complete the square here. Half of 64/9 squared. Well, half of 64/9 would be 64/18. 64/18 squared would be 4096 over 324. And we'd have to add this to both sides to complete the square. Now on the left, this would mean it's x minus that half, so that'd be minus 64/18. 18ths squared. So now on the right-hand side, we'll need a common denominator. Between 9 and 324, we can just scale this by 36. 36 times 64 is 2304. So we have our like denominator on the right, 2304 plus 4096 is 6400 over 324. Now we can square root both sides to get rid of the square, and we'll have x minus 64/18 equals the square root of 6400 is 80, and the square root of 324 is 18. We can now add 64/18 to both sides, and we get 144 over 18, and 144 over 18 is 8. For one solution, there are two because it's a quadratic. We've got positive and negative. 80 over 18. And so if we take the negative 80 plus 64 is negative 16 over 18, which is the same thing as negative 8/9. Now if we were to test our solution, you'll see that 8 is extraneous and we only have the one solution. It is negative 8/9.